Good morning. First of all, let me congratulate each and every one of you, Arthur Dixon Elementary School. We come out on days such as today, 8th grade graduation, and it's a grand celebration. It's a grand celebration through our families, through our communities. But the reality is that some of us did the bare minimum. We did just enough to get by. What are you going to do to get from today to the rest of your life? Now, I know that you are children, but you are faced with some decisions now as children that many of us as adults have never had to face. And so I'm asking you to be conscious of the decisions that you make, because they will be long-lasting. Bryce Bailey, stand up. Jeffrey Knight, stand up. Russell Robinson, stand up. Ladies, I'm not overlooking you, but most of the time, spread across this stage, all we have is ladies. It is a privilege and a pleasure to see 3 African-American males in the top 10 valedictorian, salutatorian. You guys ought to be congratulated. Keep up the great work. Change is inevitable, but growth is optional.
Doom, boom, doom, 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 boom, doom, 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 boom, doom, 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 boom, doom, doom.
We started with a beautiful art that the children were creating and began to display it. Then the actual collecting, I think, began as we began to meet artists, develop relationships with artists, understand more of what they did, and becoming intimate with the art, and actually articulate our vision for our school and the goals that we had for our children. It's probably been going on for maybe about 10 years. And it actually started from the children.
Can we have your attention, please?
Hi, my name is Leona Washington. Hello, my name is Derek Townsend.
I believe in myself and my abilities to do my best at all times. Today I pledge that I will listen, I will learn, I will read, I will write, and I will obey the rules and regulations of Dixon School. Today I pledge that I will respect all those around me, my teachers and my classmates. I will do all these things with one purpose in mind, to be the very best because I am one special, proud, Black individual, and this day will come no more.
Thank you.
Good morning. How you doing?
Joan Crisler is passionate about education and art. She found a way to combine her love for both during her 20 years as principal of Dixon School. She recently left Dixon when she was chosen to mentor and train other educators to become public school principals.
What we appreciate as adults, we should share that with children. Because how do children learn if we don't teach them? And part of the school's collecting was, as a principal, you spend so much time here in your work environment. So you want your work environment to be just as nurturing and comforting and inspiring as your home environment or any other environment. So you begin to create that and bring your kids into that. And that's just how it started. It started very unintentionally, actually. It just evolved. Much of the artwork, as you can see, is not behind glass, it's not secured, it's freestanding, just as it would be in any museum. And that's by design. If we send the message to children that we trust them and we respect them to honor the art, they will do that. And so I wanted the kids to be free to interact with the art. I wanted them to feel honored that we would put such richness, things of such value in their midst and trust them to honor it and respect it, and they have not disappointed me. It's not, is it gonna match the sofa, is it gonna match the wall? It's what message is it singing? And so, just as the art speaks to us, we think it speaks to our children as well.
Sharon Dale, who was assistant principal to Mrs. Crisler, now heads Dixon.
That we need to be visible, not just during the morning, but throughout the day. It's a job that you're the mother at times, you're a father, you're a nurse.
Come in quietly, guys. Quietly, quietly, quietly. Turn nicely. Okay. Alexis, get a smile on your face.
But it's a wonderful job because a lot of times you affect a lot of lives. Not, sometimes it's a family and not just a child or a student. You take care of the kids first.
Good morning.
And then everything else comes second.
Good morning.
When she was principal, she would always go down at that end, and I, as assistant, would be at this end. So now that I'm the principal, I just switched and went to her end. So. I literally was afraid to come to the Chicago Public School because of all the things that you heard about the children in the schools. And none of that did I find here.
Announcements. This is from Mr. Davis. All 7th and 8th grade girls interested in trying out for basketball, please see Mr. Davis.
This is what they call a tree of life. And it's actually carved out of ebony. And it's one piece of wood. And the tree of life to us, if you look at it, you see how from the bottom all the way up to the top, people lifting up, resting on other people's shoulders, the strength of the foundation that has raised them all the way to the top. But it also represents the spirit of our school, which is that no one individual is responsible for our school's success. And as you can tell, when you look at that piece, you really can't distinguish one from the other. You don't know who is royalty in that piece. You don't know who are the workers. All you see is a team of people pulling together. And that's what that represents for us here, a team, a village pulling together to reach the highest heights possible.
Hey, Ma.
I was playing chess today, and I lost the first round.
Poor baby.
She entered Dixon at 3rd grade.
Yes.
That's when she really started to bloom. She started writing, okay? She started reading and, and she started talking more. She started opening up a little bit more. She wasn't, confined. Okay, and once she started doing that, that's the story ever since. When somebody say you can't, all right, you don't have to dignify that with an answer.
I don't.
All you have to do is step out there and do what God gave you to do. Use your mind. So that's what I want you to understand with your classmates. They know they can count on you. She's my rock. Because a lot of what I've been going through, she's been there for me. What I'm saying with my mom being sick, she's maintained, and I'm very proud of her for that. No matter what, I will be there for her.
Teachers, just a reminder, this morning stations will start at 9:30. For those students that need to bring their jackets, since one of the stations is outdoors, please have them come down here already prepared with their jackets.
Good morning, 313.
Be very careful in the hallways of all of the artwork.
All you have to do is remember to be what? Responsible. And what? In control of your body when you see the artwork throughout the building.
You can't lean on any of the statues, okay? Don't even put your hands on them. You can admire them, you can walk up at them, look at them, but don't use it as an armrest.
There's a lot of privileges that come with being in junior high at Dixon, but you will have to prove that you guys have earned them. Things that are happening here at Dixon, like the art, like the, the gospel choir, like the band, doesn't happen everywhere. And believe it or not, that's really gonna help you guys out a whole lot in high school. We hear a lot wrong with Chicago Public Schools sometimes, but you all have a big part in making that difference of making your school a success. Then it becomes, the idea of, well, this is where I went, this is where your uncles went, this is where your aunts went, so here's the standards. If this is what Ms. Crisler was doing, 10 years ago, this is what Ms. Dale is still carrying on, 10 years later. It's really, really important. I didn't get a chance to say this to your classmates, that you all really are setting the standard for the little ones, because I know it's really easy to get caught up in the in 8th grade business in the 8th grade, which is okay. You all have really made a big accomplishment, and it's all right to kind of feel like the leaders of the school, which you are. However, with that still comes a little bit more responsibility. So I think you all are done. Y'all can turn around, line back up with Mr. Burdett. I think you all are going to the auditorium.
You might not see it, but you all are doing really well. I'm impressed. I really am impressed. It's not that I wouldn't have expected it, but I'm impressed.
All right.
I really am. There she is. They're getting their certificates. Just wanted to come in and say congratulations, Mrs. Dale. I am so impressed. Yes. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And they are all so polite. Everybody's saying thank you.
Thank you.
I see. Everybody likes free lunch, huh? Here's to the honor roll. Congratulations. Here, here. Honor roll. Let me hear you.
Honor roll.
All right. There you go. Thank you for borrowing your drink. Okay, let's eat.
So will you be on the honor roll next semester?
Calamari is sweet.
If what you want to achieve is the honor roll, then you will do what you need to do. If the bar is at 95, then you will reach 95 or exceed 95.
And one thing she did too is across the board is that art classes, ancillary classes, you have to make down the road. So before that,
right, you just get a check mark. You know, you're not even really graded.
Or you could get a failing grade and still make the honor roll because art didn't count. Physical ed didn't count. Music didn't count. Library science, it didn't count. And so what does that say to the children who are coming to her class and they don't honor her talent, don't honor what she's able to provide for them? Some years ago, the Chicago Public Schools entered into a contract with the union that said that they were going to provide an additional preparation period for all teachers. And they were going to provide that preparation period in the form of either music or an art teacher. It took me a very frustrating 2.5 years to find an art teacher. The teachers were patient, but after a while, they were like, where is the art teacher? Where's our prep period? Well, I am not looking for a person to provide you with a prep period. I'm looking for an art teacher to educate my children. I interviewed several people, but nobody really clicked with me. Annette saunters in. She opens up this portfolio, and everything in the portfolio was a piece of children's artwork. I hired her on the spot.
Use the opposite. And it'll keep you from getting tired and keep you going straight too.
I was looking for a person who could use their talent, their creativity, their knowledge, their skills to help bring that gift out of the children. It's been a very, very productive 17 years. I found not only a master artist in her own right, a wonderful spirit, and also a wonderful friend. She's very demanding, and it requires these students to really work extraordinarily hard. She really pushes the limits with them in terms of their talent. She has discovered so many gifted artists, students who never thought of themselves as an artist. When you go in her studio during the lunch period, she has students who have come in voluntarily and they want to work on their pieces. And then when they see what they've been able to create, it's just overwhelming for them.
Oh, it's mint.
Is that mint? Oh, yes. Oh,
it's mint. You can plant it?
Yeah. It's an herb.
So I can replant it?
You can eat it.
What is
I can eat it now. You can use it to make tea and stuff.
Yeah. Hey, y'all make you eat it right now?
Three-dimensional renderings. They had to have a home. So what she decided to do was that she was going to paint the mural background. But what she did, which was so wonderful, she waited until the children returned to school in the fall. She only did her painting on days when students were present. And so they got to see this mural develop from start to finish. I think if they came in here on Monday and all the art was gone, it would have such an emotional impact on them because this is their school now. This is what represents their school. This is what honors their culture. We've been able to do it because we kind of ran our school like you would run your household. We plan well and we manage well. We set short-term goals and we set long-term goals. It helps also that you develop relationships with the artists, and the artists believe in your vision. They support that. We've done fundraising. We've used some programmatic funds because part of our program is the fine arts. Part of our program also has been the cultural enrichment aspect in terms of social studies. So we've been able to, just over the course of years, been able to pull aside some resources to support the collecting as well as supporting everything else. Probably very few people go to the extreme that we do, but it's just who we are. I mean, we don't do anything in moderation, do we, Ms. Jackson? No, we don't. If you spend any time in our school, you will notice that nothing has suffered as a result of the collecting of the art. We have some of the highest levels of technology. Our young people have books, new books, in every subject area. Our program is enriched, our music program is enriched. So it's just a matter of good planning and targeting of resources and having a vision.
Briggs, Dixon's former assistant principal, now heads Cone Elementary School. Miss Briggs has a new vision for Cone and brings elements of Dixon into Cone's world.
Good morning, how are you? Good morning, young lady. How are you today? Welcome back. You look nice in your black and white. You're welcome. When I shared with my friends and family that I had accepted an assignment to become principal of Cone Elementary School in Roseland, no matter who I communicated that to, whether it be my colleagues or my friends, they would say, wow, are you sure you want to go to Roseland? You know that community is embedded in violence. Dixon prepared me with a vision for what was possible for all schools.
One of the things I noticed with pre-adolescents was they were always very aggressive, and the boys' relationships, and I felt, well, there's probably a lot of unaddressed sexual tension. So I went to Carol one day and I said, would you consider? And of course, Carol was not the touchy-feely elementary. She wanted to stay with her house. I said, but look, you see what you're dealing with, right? I believe in being proactive. What if you could teach to my 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th graders what these 9th and 10th graders never learned? Mm-hmm. Could we then maybe preempt some of this reckless behavior?
Yes.
She thought about it and eventually agreed to come on board with Dixon, where she was our health and sexuality educator.
Yeah.
So one day I went to Carol. I knew I had heard incidentally that Carol had received her Type 75 administrative certification through Roosevelt University. So I just we were in room 104, and Carol was looking out the window, and I came and I said, have you ever given any thought to what are you going to do with it? No. She hadn't given any thought to it. And so I said at that point, would you consider becoming my assistant principal? And she agreed to do it.
I was like, who?
In retrospect, I don't know, but, and so then she became my assistant principal. And how long were you the assistant principal?
7 years.
7 years. And then the rest is history. Carol was personally selected by the area instructional officer at that time to come in and accept the challenge here at Cone.
The school has been a school of failure for probably over 10 years. And trying to help them get to where they need to be in terms of just even at grade level means there's a tremendous amount of work that we have to do for teachers.
Go get in your line. Why y'all standing here? Y'all do this every morning.
A large part of the work that we're trying to do right now is really get teachers to where they need to be to really work with struggling readers and struggling learners. And in order to really close that achievement gap, our world has to become stable at some level. But we can never stabilize our world because we keep being the center where they bring children. We just have kind of brought some peace to our world, and now here again we go, having to receive another population of students.
It's kind of interesting when they come during the middle of the day. It would be best if it came at the beginning or at the end of the day, but sometimes during, a middle of a discussion or in the middle of, some type of a lesson, it is a little more difficult.
Welcome to school. Somebody's not smiling. I'm going to come by to visit you. You're my new friend? Yes. Oh, I'm so happy to have a new friend. Oh, I love you too. Take your cap off. There you go.
It didn't take 10 years to fail, and it truly won't. It's going to definitely take more than a year and a half. And I think part of our struggle, even for those of us who have championed the cause of trying to really fight the battles for children of poverty and correct the ills, is really part of that battle that I'm fighting this morning. Let our world be stable. And if you let our world be stable, we will eventually, hopefully, rise to the occasion.
Hey, my Sam, welcome back. Are you excited? I'm happy to see you.
If you don't eat when you go home, and you only get 1 or 2 meals a day, breakfast and lunch at school, and you're all night hungry, how can you not be confronted with issues in the morning when you wake up and come to school? If you have been traveling with your mother all night because you really don't have a foundation or place to really live and sleep and lay your head, how can that not be an issue for you in the morning when you come to school? If you have to come to school and you are not clothed, or you have not had an opportunity to shower or bathe, or your clothes are filthy, how can you feel good about coming to school and sitting in a classroom with 25 or 30 other children when you know you don't smell good to yourself, or the smell has become such a part of who you are that you don't even recognize that you're not clean anymore? Don't compare me to all the other schools in my area, in my district. Begin to see my work individually. Begin to see my challenges individually, and also recognize me for what it is that we accomplish. Because our accomplishments are going to be moment by moment, day by day, and step by step. I may not get an AYP award, but recognize the fact that the police aren't parked in front of my school in humongous kind of ways like they were last year.
Do I have your attention now? Yes. Okay, now, we're getting ready to move to the dictionaries. No. Why not? All right.
Observation and video today.
Cities Transformers is orange. Pale instruction is blue.
What's yellow?
Dialogue.
We were looking at the work that the students were doing, making sure that it was still rigorous and engaging. We were looking for some authentic assignments, some problem-based learning, which there was no evidence of that. We were also looking to assess what the student engagement was, what they were actually doing, what the teacher was doing, and whether or not they were connecting, and what they were doing was, we're still looking for a level of rigor.
Today, we're going to be doing just what we do normally, reading of our poems, talking to the floor, covering your face with the book, just regular strategies that we use for better pronunciation and projection.
The person that would go first is DeAndre.
My poem would be, defining myself as opposed to being defined by others is the most difficult challenge I face because I'm actually proud that you can't easily define me. You better be careful, because this mind can turn a crazy man into the smartest man in the world.
All right. Everything that there was positive about being Black was fed to me at Dixon. That's where I first started squeezing out my creative juices by writing and doing oral recitations. I had a teacher at the school by the name of Miss Washington. She was my English teacher, and she saw that I had a gift, and we used to spend time after school, putting things together, and, that's where I learned about different forms of writing. And I also had an art teacher there by the name of Miss Jackson who enabled me to be able to do things I never thought I could do. When I went back, it was like home for me. It was a point where me and my mother came out with our own book. It's called A Way with Words, Poetry by the Book. And as soon as my Miss Crisler and my teachers at Dixon found out that I had helped in writing a book, they had me come back and speak to the kids. And that was just like the pinnacle of my writing career.
Once you do your template, from the template, you're gonna do your cardboard. From the cardboard, you're gonna go to wood. All right, got that? Yeah. This is when your math come in. So I hope you have somebody in your group that's good at math.
So you want to make sure that's centered. Find your 6. Sure, sweetness. Susan's finished. Okay, you're gonna take it to the edge, and you're gonna very carefully outline. Kiana, you know you skinny. Let me do it.
And why does tech gotta be so tall? Thank you.
That's why it's called a top hat.
A top hat wasn't this tall.
Yes, it was.
Abraham Lincoln's hat wasn't that tall.
Yes, it was.
We try to speak to our audience, the young people, the community, in subliminal ways. So we try to reinforce certain concepts, and you'll see more of that as we move up through the school, and the types of renderings that you will see in the various areas depending upon the age levels of the students. Stacy and Dial are two of the first artists that we started to collect. But before we get to Stacy, I want to show you another Dial piece. The name of this piece is Yeye Oba. Behind every great king is a strong, loving mother. We are the mother, and we are building, supporting a foundation of greatness in all of our children.
Hello, how are you? You remember me? It's good to see you again. Wonderful. Now, on top of his head, he wears what we call fila. Can we all say that? Fila. Fila, good. You said it well, fila. The unique thing about Dixon is that he encourages kids to know that these are artworks that have meanings and they have stories behind them, and those stories are their stories. The unique part of how Joan looks at a work of art is that at times she might be thinking of what she has already in there, and she knows exactly where it's going. So she's more like a like a curator. That's how we hold it. You put your thumb right there, and your hand becomes the tray. Okay, now we have the artist next to me here. What's your name?
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. What do we have here, Jeremiah? Who are you?
Spider-Man.
Oh, this Spider-Man. Wow. I asked, of course, the kids usually why or how they know my work, and they claim that is the style. For kids of that age, to know that you look at an artist's work through style is commendable.
Like I said, everyone that we develop a relationship with, we're so simpatico. It's like when people come and none of you guys hold back. It's like everything I have to give with this project, I'm going to give it. And you know that it's going to be appreciated.
I know, and that's why I said I have to do something this last year. And like you said, you don't hold back, because it was only supposed to be the water fountain wall. Drink in Remembrance started as an idea I had when I met Joseph Koye from Kenya. And he was here in the United States trying to raise money for a school that he was starting back in his village. I wanted to start a cultural exchange between the students here at Dixon, because my daughter attends here, and the students in Africa. So I thought about doing a pen pal program. I had the idea to take the photographs that they sent us, as well as some of the text from their letters, and incorporate it in a mosaic. They talked about the lack of water. Some of them mentioned that their animals died because of the drought. The idea of the village elder offering water to Maasai children. And really, she's offering water to our children here as well. And I hope that this is something that they will continue to do. Actually, we work with a small group of students, and they have named themselves Friends of the Maasai.
A breakfast, a dinner. We have pictures out in the hall I want you guys to look at on the wall by 306. Also, we have the sanitation workers in Memphis, where Dr. King went to Memphis, where he was assassinated. We're going to view these pictures on the wall facing us now, okay? These businesses are like in Birmingham. I'm familiar with Birmingham because that's where I was living at the time. And they had lunch counters where you could go in, where black people were not allowed to sit at the counters because of segregation and racism. Dr. King's movement, he would get a group of young people to sit at the counters and protest. And that's how the term sit-in come from, because they were sitting at the counters for service, okay? And that's why one of the reasons why Dr. King went to negotiate. Yes, Brenda?
They say I'm black and I'm proud. Memphis sanitation strike?
Yeah, that's what Birmingham, Dr. King was assassinated in Memphis when he had gone to Memphis.
Civil rights.
Parts of the Great Society target the nation's crumbling cities. A lot of friends at school call me the reader. This is just a fraction of all the books I've read in my entire lifetime. I've even got some of my artwork up. That was a picture that I had sold at the school art fair. I'm very influenced by graffiti art. These are some notepads I got from art class and stuff. My strongest subject is reading. Ever since in the first grade, I was reading at an 8th grade level. And so I guess now I'm probably reading at a high school or college level. I don't know the statistics. My latest trophy and award that I was given for winning the Area 17 Science Fair. Outstanding. I'm going to the City Science Fair. Cigarette butt litter at Landing at Sea, which one survive. I have a large quantity of pictures that I took during my project. I had a very extensive project. And last year I went to the City Science Fair too, and I'm going to the City Science Fair again. This isn't the first time I've won science fair either. I've been winning science fairs at my school since 1st grade. Math, I've actually been my weakest subject. For some reason, math just doesn't click. You know, anything else clicks. You know, I'm a computer genius. I'm a good reader. You know, like it's only to come in here right now and break down my computer and rebuild it up. I could do it like after watching them do it or something, but it's just like math just doesn't click. It's just so difficult with me.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you later.
On your notebook paper, let's write this down. How many rectangles do we have? So we have a 90-degree angle here. I'm gonna give these to Mrs. Jackson so that you all can use these downstairs to create some right angles. So that after that, you guys need to be quiet. I'm listening.
Can we write this in amendments?
It should be like in the form that they have for the Mayflower Compact.
Miss Fox, send those to my door.
Let's see if Autumn covered everything that needed to be there. Did she have a thesis statement?
Yes. She told you how to make it, and she used the transition words too.
Okay, she used transition words. Raise your hand if you heard a transition word and tell me what that transition word that you heard in essay. Jovika? First, and Kiara? And as I'm seeing now, the students are coming in already doing an excellent job. So I know that by the end of the school year, I can't see anything but, they're producing more and more excellent papers, and I'm really proud of them for that. I've been teaching at Dixon for 14 years. This is the second year I've had 7th grade. They already pretty much know me and I know them. And then I get to see them on the flip side of just on academics, because a lot of them are on my volleyball team, my cheerleaders, track and field. So I get to work with them inside classrooms and on the outside, so they can see another side of me and I can see another side of them.
Well, that's because you gifted.
I know. She like good.
I'm gonna help you with your definitions.
Okay.
Are you lying to me?
Go ask Miss Bell right now.
We do it better than any teacher possibly could. I don't know about Miss Bell or Miss Mundy. Miss Randall, she go all out. But what we do here is we show no weakness when it comes to our student.
They slow things down, and I get a better understanding when they do it, because they more strict than the teachers. The teachers, they give you all the lesson and, just one day.
Like one of the students she could trust, so she know that she could trust us to do stuff that she needs to be done.
When you start off and you realize that you're failing and you might not go to the next grade, it's a big difference. It kind of does affect you because it's like this is my life, and this is the most important year for you. It determines if you go to high school or not. So I think it's important for him, and I think once we told him that, I think kind of made a change in like how he felt about it. Like it made a change. Like I know I need to work harder now because I need to go to high school. I need to go to the next grade level. This is important for me. So I think it does help.
Joan Crisler approached me about creating an installation, and at the time my son was coming to live with us. So I was already looking at all these public schools, and it was my first time in Dixon, and I was blown away by all the artwork. So I was like, forget the sculpture, can my son go to school here?
So in these sculptures, I was trying to capture the playfulness of the school kids. I call them Crayola colors, but I use all primary colors. We actually started out with two pieces, the yellow and the red, and it was called Hide and Seek. And then Joan asked me, why did you pick red and yellow? So I said, really, if I could do it my way, I would have chosen 3, hide and go seek. And she said, let's do it.
So the idea is that each piece or each kind of represents the term. So you have one that's counting, then you have one that's hiding, and then you have the blue that's go. And I get people come to me and like, yeah, I saw your piece, you know, the sculptures that, I don't know the name of it, but the ones that are playing hide and go seek. And I was like, well, that's it. I mean, it's pretty, it's easy for the kids to kind of grasp, and it really connects to people. I mean, it's a very approachable piece of work. It kind of made me nervous at first, I asked her, I said, aren't you worried about these works of art being trashed or the kids kind of vandalized? And she gave me her whole mantra about how we have to expose our youth to things of value and culture. We can't hoard it or hide it away because then they won't value it.
This is my off day, and I'm here to volunteer. All of us teachers, we love to volunteer for Culture Connections.
Why I want to work for Culture Connection is because I'm from Africa, and just walking around looking at all this artwork it reminds me of my home. This is how, in part of Africa, this is how people look like, this is how real people dress up and everything. Seeing it back here in America is kind of exciting. So my country, I was born in Ivory Coast because my parents ran from Liberia to Ivory Coast when it was wartime. About 2001 or 2, I went back there to go rebuild my little town that we were living in. We went and rebuilt it and have everything back together. That's when my cousin sent for me to come to the United States. I came straight to Dixon, and it's like, welcome to Little Africa, because everywhere you look on, you see something about your culture, and that's really nice.
We do a mass mailing. We have the guests come in and sign the guest book when they come in, and then we mail them an invitation the next year to their homes. We also advertise on the radio, and we send out a press release to all the news stations, hoping that they will, and to the churches and to all the schools.
Actually, I think this is the 6th show that I've done at Dixon. Everyone spoke so highly about it, but it wasn't until we got here that we really understood the enthusiasm.
And I'm going to show you here.
grab it. And you're gonna kind of slide it and push it so that cement squeeze over there. There. Got it?
Yeah.
All right, so you size it up first. See where you might be able to fit that piece. Yeah, like right down in there. We'll be plugging away until it's filled in. And then we left some spaces because one of the kindergarten teachers has some photographs of animals that she took in Africa. So we took those pictures, and I'm again going to have them transferred to tiles, so we will put some of her photographs in there. I'm trying to follow your branch up here, your new branch that you created. See, I'm just going to go with the flow. I would love to come to Africa and teach your kids at your school.
Correct.
Yeah, how to make their own mural. Actually, I met Joseph 2 years ago at an art function. He was there dressed as he's dressed right now, and I didn't understand why he was there dressed like that, so I just went over and asked, and he explained that he was here trying to raise money for a school he was building in his village in Africa. The pottery?
Yeah.
Oh, good, okay.
You know, there's no means of me raising money out in Africa. And I decided, I got some friends who are from Michigan. They sponsored my first trip to the United States. And I managed to raise some money, we built a school. And so I've been coming back and forth so I can extend to add some more classrooms and sponsor more students to go to school. You know, whenever I come here or any other country, you know, I travel to other countries as well. I volunteer my time to visit learning institutions. And, you know, they are very curious. They want to know where I come from. They have never been out of their own state or country. And they are eager, they want to learn more. I'm just amazed that some people here ask me, oh, who is the president of Africa? So they ask me a lot of questions.
Welcome to Dixon. Thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you.
3 floors.
Right.
She is your teacher.
Amazing.
Oh, thank you. And you're the new principal, right?
No, I'm the old president.
You're the old principal. I did look familiar.
The first time we came here was probably 3 years ago, and we came with diaspora rhythms. We walked in here, and by the time we walked out, all I could think of is, well, I was in school like this when I was in school.
Yeah.
You see things that you don't normally see in schools, you know, all this, be proud of yourself, the self. It's just reflected in everything.
Absolutely, good things. There's so much negativity, particularly around with children of color.
Yes.
And for them to come into an environment every day that affirms the good about them.
And what they can.
And what they can do, what the possibilities are.
Exactly.
But still challenges them
Yeah.
to say, you know, you can do great things, but you have to work hard.
And the few times I've been here that kids have been around, the deportment is not what you normally see in a school. I mean,
This should not be
Absolutely.
something that's so exceptional that people are in awe when they see it. It should be something that they're accustomed to.
Right. Right.
And you know it's funny with our kids because they become accustomed to it. So sometimes it makes it a bit challenging when they go other places because they now want to know, where is the art teacher? Where is the art? Why are the walls so bare? It's just boring. They have to know what's out there.
Yes.
They have to know what.
Exactly.
Let's just say it. What in other communities is made available as a matter of course for other children, and so they have to, begin to claim that and demand that for themselves.
Yeah.
really need parents to become more active participants in their children's learning, and so we're really working hard on that.
Literacy team, we welcome each and every one of you and your families to Family Literacy Night. We hopefully will give you and your parents some strategies to work on over the summer so that we can keep you learning and thinking. Everybody lift their balloons up. We're going to launch our balloons on behalf of Homeschool Family Literacy Night. Let's go! Yay for reading. All right, let's go and get ready. That's why I'm so proud of you. You're here for Family Literacy Night. Yes, I am. You can play around, do it. Oh, don't make entrepreneur. Can you retard yourself over that stage? All right, you want to help start with yes, I need to just call her that too, because she is. Okay. Yes. And then if anyone that's don't be calling her that. I'm fussing at you too. She's retarded. She's not. She ain't called that. How are you? Great, great. Well, they come in. Oh, where the kids go? I just want you to know. I'll tell you. Miss Nancy, adopt him for this evening, okay? Let him learn with you. Miss Nancy will let Donnie learn with her. Go learn with Miss Nancy. How are you? I'm great. Good evening. Welcome to Family Literacy Night. It's always a pleasure to see our parents come out and join us as we truly work to enhance reading for our students. And truly, if we enhance their ability to become great readers, we know that they will become great thinkers. We know if parents join us, we can help but produce some of the brightest young people on the south side of Chicago.
All right, pick the one that says lazy. Just pick that one that says lazy. You got it? Pick the one that says lazy. We have lazy, then what's the next word we have? Inactive. Let me hear everybody go with me. Go. Inactive. What's the one walking that way? I think it's 502, but it should be somebody right there. What's the next word after?
Yep,
always. Let's hear some sense. Remember, we are a community of what? Learners, and we respect each other.
How you spell vocabulary? Vocabulary.
It's I'll tell you something. I have worked for years all over the country, and you parents and you students are so fortunate to have a leader and to have teachers and assistant principals, reading coaches that care about your kids like this. So many times women know pretty bad things.
We need them to read and we need them to write. When they tell you they're bored, have them read to you and then have them summarize to you and for you what it is that they have read. It'll enhance their thinking quite a bit.
I want to officially thank you. Let's give ourselves a hand and go out there and talk.
So this is a sculpture called Ascendancy, which depicts a graph of the sort of status and stature of the African American. So this year, as part of the art and genetics program at the school, the students took DNA samples from their cheek cells and we sent them off to National Geographic. And we all got our DNA and our mitochondrial maternal inheritance DNA analyzed. And we got the results. There's another big installation. It's going to show the map for each of the students and teachers in the class with ribbons from a young man looking out at the world.
When they did the science and the art, it's like light bulbs go off. And I'm going to use that more, that Peter's going to come back with me and he's going to come back to the school to see the 6th graders. So he's going to continue to work with the 6th graders throughout the year.
And this was all set up by the individuals, little tribes moving along from the first, like the original Eve. So most Africans that started here, that were African American, moved across to this part of Africa, and then in 500 years ago were put on slave ships. And that changes, you know, the modern transportation changes everything.
Dixon students excel time and again with invitations to the city's annual science fair.
Well, the primary thing that we're looking for in these young people, number one, is creativity. The other variable that we look at in these budding scientists is an ability to find some objective measure to prove their ideas. And the third thing we look for is an ability to have an idea and then to pursue that idea over time. Persistence.
The Chicago Public School Science Fair has been in existence for 58 years. Parents, teachers, visitors, students, please give yourselves a round of applause.
Braxton Brown Jr. Science Award. 4 $50 cash award to male exhibitors. John Golden, Gary Pritchett, James Emerson, and Harold Lewis.
I received 3 awards, 3 cash awards. I don't know how many awards I have in my backpack.
Gary, what are you going to do with all this money?
This is classified.
You know, I've noticed that just from going to different schools, teaching, and having my daughter in school, there hasn't been as much enrichment in the family environment that was here. It was just everybody knew everybody's parents. You know how some girls can come in with lipstick or nail polish? I couldn't do that.
They were a class, in addition to being very, very bright, they had a uniqueness about them in the way they bonded together. You guys really took care of each other. Bruce was my son, and he was Ryan's classmate, and he was a part of their class of 1995. He developed an illness in their 8th grade year, and so he made his transition the November. It's difficult on them as it was on me and my family, but they just found a way to take care of each other. They found a way to take care of me, and one of the memorials to Bruce was they renamed it the Bruce Allen Crisler Jr. Gallery, which is, you know, it's just going to be an eternal tribute. But the photographer that we were using at the time used some trick photography to take, I think it was you guys' 7th grade picture when you were Mrs. Newton, which is the last picture he had taken with your class.
Right.
And she took that picture and she managed to transpose his face into a cap and gown. They still kept embracing him and bringing him back. So it made me feel, you know, very, very good that they weren't trying to push him away or push the grief away. They continued to embrace, and it was just wonderful. But this was the kind of kids they were, and still today the kind of young adults that they are.
This is Cheryl Walters.
Hi.
She's a retired school psychologist for the Chicago Public School. I called her to tell her what had happened to Miss Prince, and she was just Johnny on the spot. She started organizing things. She got with my other team members, my social worker. They came up with a plan of how we were going to address the kids.
No matter what we're doing, it's with the understanding that this isn't a school, and it's all about educating our kids. So what do our kids need to hear so that they can then hear their teachers? what does the administration do in terms of supporting us, in terms of supporting the staff? We think about things like, does a letter need to go home? What does that letter need to say? How can we reassure parents that we in this building still have their kids' needs being met?
One of my students, who was one of Erica's students last year, who doesn't want to be a part of the graduation ceremony next Monday because he felt that if Miss Prince could not be there, he didn't want to be there, because he felt that was the first teacher that he connected with the minute he walked into this building was her. We talked to the children. We first found out what they had heard and what they knew about the situation. And then we talked about their feelings too. We wanted them to know, how do you feel? And we gave them an opportunity to share. And then just like at the end, we had them write cards to the family. Milani, because she was one of our 4th grade students, Erica's child was here in our building. And she's not here today, so especially her room. We paid attention to her classroom more, and the rooms that Erica Prince served as the resource teacher, which is our 7th and 6th grade. So we went from room to room. Some rooms when we passed, they were okay. And then some teachers were waiting on us in the hall to come to their room.
Adults don't know all the answers. Sometimes adults cry just because their hearts hurt. And sometimes we have to be sensitive not only to each other as children, but also to the adults who are in this building who are trying to help them.
This has been a rough year for our whole school. You know, this is our 2nd death. Miss Washington, when we lost her in December. And she had been a teacher here at Dixon for 32 years.
I would be lying if I didn't say that sometimes it batters my spirit. I have different kinds of songs that I listen to when I'm coming to work in the morning, because there are different kinds of ways that I need to feel depending on where I'm going and depending on what I think I'm going to be facing when I get there.
I keep my focus on the kids, always. That's something Joan would always say to me, Sharon, don't let people take you off your focus. How's it going? I mean, she said that to me over and over and over, no matter what was going around me, an angry parent, a disgruntled teacher, or whatever. If I talked to her at night on the phone, don't take your focus off the kids.
I was just amazed at the level of graffiti in our girls' bathroom, our boys' bathroom. Also, one of the things I recognized early on was young people saying, I hate this school, I hate this school. It wasn't a really pretty place to come to for children. So why would I love this space? Our bathrooms don't look like really nice bathrooms, so they're worth defacing because they're not welcoming for young people. Our school was kind of very blah, and then typically you walk into the main office and it's just a space. One of the things that I share with all those that really know me and know my love for the art, my art and I really have this spiritual connection, and I can go from room to room, from piece to piece, and there's something about every piece that I've collected that I love. We don't have a fine arts component to our school, and so all the pieces of art that are at Cone have come from my personal collection. And I would love to one day find a way to be able to purchase more art, because my joy, my prayer would be to surround my students, my teachers, with the joy of learning to love and live with art. I can honestly say to you, the parents that come here now, our children are saying, ooh, okay. When they came back from the summer and they saw the green paint on the walls, they felt a lot better about their school. And for children in this community especially, school is really the only place they have to come outside of home.
The art at Dixon serves so many purposes, not just as an aesthetic, but one of the things that, you know, as I developed more as a I guess a collector, is I began to think about the various uses of the artwork, not just to serve an aesthetic purpose, oh, that's so pretty, but to actually talk to my kids.
From the very first time I became a librarian, I started bringing my work in from my house. A library is a place where it's a place of information. So I feel like whatever the students need to know, that they can come to this library and find out. Well, of course, I bring in the culture, and I bring in the history, because many of our children don't know our history. They don't know why we are where we are and why, how we got here and things like that. And since I've been here, they have learned a lot about the continent of Africa. If you've noticed some of them, I tried to bring in color so that they wouldn't see that all Africans were the color of dark chocolate, that some of them are their color is caramel or even lighter than that. So I tried to find pieces that would show the difference in the color, because our children have the tendency to believe that all Africans are very dark chocolate colored, and that's not true. So they can tell when something is missing. They can tell when a picture has been moved. And they let, oh, Ms. Rushton, your picture is gone. Someone came in there and asked me about the picture I had about the Marines. And I hadn't even noticed that the picture had been moved, but it was brought to my attention last week that the picture has been moved. I haven't found it yet, so it's somewhere in the school. It's a lot of art in their words. It's a lot of art in the way they move. The body language tells you that they understand that there's something going on.
It's like when I can reflect on Harriet Tubman, when I can look at a picture of Harriet Tubman, and then my teacher can teach me about Harriet Tubman and the struggles of our people, then I can come out in my hallway and see Harriet Tubman on the wall. Man, it makes me connect. It makes me connect. When I can see that grandfather truly sitting there reading to a child, it makes me connect. And maybe when my grandfather reads to me at home, and then I can come to my school and I can see on the marquee at Cone, Real Men Read, because we have real men reading to our children throughout this entire month. And then I see the grandfather reading, then maybe I'll go home and say, Granddad, would you read with me? We have to make those real connections for children, especially in terms of the communities and the culture from which they come. And in many of our schools, our children have been denied.
Even when a team of educators and a team within a family pull together, sometimes the ones they hope to reach will stumble.
I did not know that when we got there, of course I got a call from Gary at 12 o'clock Friday, and he was upset and wanted me to come pick him up from school. And I said, well, what's going on? What's wrong? So he said, well, today is not my last day. I have to go to summer school. So I said, Gary, are you going to graduate Monday? And he said no, because Gary had received a D in math, he would not be able to participate in the graduation ceremony.
This year in math, it was awkward because we made such a large jump, because we jumped from our 7th grade math into high school math.
I did not know that it took a C or better to pass, because since I knew he was struggling, I said, well, Gary, do the best you can. At least, if you can't, just get a D.
I feel that I represented my school so much and so well that something should have been done.
Well, they knew in October that the students who did not graduate, they had to have a C or better in reading and math, and they had to test in the 24th percentile. Most of the students tested very well, but they didn't have that C. Most of them did not have a C in math. And we offered all kind of extracurricular programs for them.
We fought, we tried to see what we could do to see if the kids can walk. We tried to see if they can just participate in the graduation, and they weren't able to. So, no, it's not a Dixon thing. This is in the Chicago Public School. This is the whole system, and we have fought tooth and nail since Wednesday trying to get a change, but no change.
We put in too much time for our school and for ourselves, and it just makes you feel like, well, what was all this for? To see my family in the crowd clapping about my name being called on the stage and receiving my diploma, my empty diploma, and having my cap and gown on. I do think that would have honored me, but.
My mother came in last week on Amtrak. She came in for Gary's graduation. So this is, like I said, this is something that we've been planning for ever since September.
I'm trying to learn to get the best out of the worst. I'm trying to think of the positive things out of this. I could have walked across the stage, going on with my life, happy as ever. Don't have to go to summer school for 6 weeks, 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. It's hard to see the good at this, but I mean, if one door closes, there gotta be another better door opening. So I'm trying to get that out of it.
Well, I let them know that the board has a separate graduation for those students during the summer, and I let them know it was nothing that we can control. I'm a parent as well, and I know what this day means to those parents.
Methuselah, what you want for breakfast? Scrambled eggs? Scrambled eggs? Okay.
I feel great. I've been working all year to come to this, and I'm happy that I got to go to high school now. I always wish I was in high school, and now here it is. I got to go. I have Yale, Princeton, or Harvard on my mind because I want to do law first, then go into politics. So I want to go to either one of those colleges.
The linkage between this paragraph and this paragraph.
This is like the conclusion, right?
Yeah, I know, but they don't seem too close together.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me write on the back what I mean. So my fellow graduates, let's go out with our dreams, our hopes, and visions.
Good morning. It is both an honor and pleasure to stand before you today to welcome you to the Dixon commencement exercise for the graduating class of 2008. Our theme this year is to accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream, not only plan, but also believe. So to my fellow graduates, let us go out with our dreams, our hopes, and our visions. Thank you, and once again, welcome.
Parents, please hold on to your children. Please hold on to your children. Know where they're going. Yes, you are the parent. You know where they're going. These are our leaders right here of tomorrow. Congratulations to the class of 2008.
Usually around the first week in June, we have they have a silent auction, and she puts a bid ticket on every piece of artwork, and staff, parents, community are free to come in and bid on the student artwork. And at the end of the bidding period, the highest bidder gets to purchase the artwork from the student as artist and entrepreneur. And those dollars go directly to the student.
Hurry up and get it before it's over. No, I mean the money.
What does it mean? City of thought. Of dark. In the mist, it's dark. So I understand what you mean. Don't let them take advantage of you. I'm like, they know you love all the art. I'm like, I do.
Because the original one is really dreamy and scary, but this one has, with the colors, it brings it to life. It's vibrant.
I love it. And I love it right on this frame.
Oh yeah, I like the color.
I framed all of them. I thought I'd never get finished with them.
Okay.
But she had 147 pieces for the students this year. I just do it out of my house. I'm retired. I don't have a shop. It's so interesting because their imaginations is beyond what anybody could think of, because they can take colors and do so much with it. And if you look at the children's art, each time you look at it, you see something that you didn't see before.
Thank you.
Okay. With the flip. Yoo-hoo!
Okay, yeah, 30 for this one. Okay.
And you want the first city pictures and you allow one.
She buying yours. You got it, Miss Chris?
Yes, I love them. I love still life.
I gotta tell my
Great job, that's right.
I gotta tell my friend that Miss Crisler about it.
That's right. Long after we're gone, somebody needs to be here to tell the story of how all of this evolved and what it meant and what it will continue to mean for the children in our community.